Hey everybody, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is a very special beginning of a video series trading the futures using the HPS methodology. And there's so much to go into. This is not scripted out. This is me. I've been doing, I've been doing this watch list tonight. I knew I needed to get this stuff out here. We've been trading the ES using some very strict rules, and we're going to go into that right now. So the futures, cover the futures every day. We watch this. This is the main screen I have on my show during the day. So it really represents the market in general. The S&P 500, pretty much. I mean the Dow, you have the Nasdaq, you have the Russell, but the S&P here is really a one of the big guys, and it's easy enough to say that most people follow this one. And it gives a good gauge of a market. It has 500 components. It has a good rounded, well-rounded selection of stocks that cover most of the market. It's just a good one. I mean, I like the Russell too. Nasdaq 100 is nice, but the S&P seems to be the best here. And a lot of people trade it. We trade the E-mini futures, and I like to trade the E-mini futures also. But what my problem is that it takes a lot of concentration for me, and I love analyzing the markets all the time. So how the HPS platform, the HPS methodology really was, I really developed it to trade stocks because it gave me that time frame to wait things out. In the futures, well, it's a totally different time frame. It's more of a scalping vehicle. But you can trade them using the HPS methodology, and that's what I wanted to do in this month's video series. I'm going to start it off tonight. We started this last week, and basically what we're going to be doing is analyzing the S&P, the S&P futures here, the E-mini futures. Current contract is December contract, and what we're going to do is we're going to put, like I do each and every day, kind of describe what happened in the market, trade the stocks, and also point out these high probability patterns that I normally look for in stocks, but I'm also going to look for them in the futures. But these are certain ones that work the best on the futures. Now, I've been trading, about 20 years now, and probably over half of that trading futures. And I've traded futures a lot in the past, and it really was never a set course. I was never disciplined in it. It was just a shootout every day. But this approach right now, this time, is really a concerted approach to really define a method and have that discipline and patience to show that method play out or not play out. And then at the end of the testing phase, really having a good, established confidence and discipline is all set up, and you can really take that and see something come from that. The problem with trading, I think, in the futures, other than, for me, takes a lot of my attention and takes the focus off the show, and that's a hard thing to juggle. It is definitely a stressor, a more stressful, way of trading. And it's faster, so it's just, there's a lot of things going on here. So what I've done is I've recognized some really good what we call high probability patterns and combinations of indicators lining up that work out. And and I haven't quantified this or in any way, but I would say 80% of the time these patterns play out the way they're setting up. And that's a tremendous edge in the market, and that's what you're looking for in the market. There's no guarantees. I mean, there could be news that comes out and spikes things down. I say news always trumps technical analysis every which way. But over time, over 20 years, I've noticed certain things work more than they don't. And you find the things that don't work, get rid of them. That's how you survive. So this next month, we're going to show you the best of the best. And I don't know how many videos I want to do after this. I was impressed after this first week. And I was impressed by a lot of the members in the room talking about the setups they've been taking. And I'm almost considering, and this is the only video that's actually going to be a public video and going to the members of Day Trading Radio. All the rest are just going to Day Trading Radio members. Because I am really so passionate and ready to kind of show you some really good stuff here. And, I should shut it all down and just trade these setups. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're all going to do. But once you identify really great setups, instead of taking a couple contracts, you'll have the confidence that, step that up to 10 contracts, 20 contracts. Who knows? If I saw these setups over and over again, and the testing phase that said, hey, this works out all the time, wouldn't you just consider like, hey, instead of getting in a few contracts, let's move this up? You know, this is going to help you make those decisions down the. I can't make those decisions for you, but this will help you decide how you want to trade. All right, so that's what this video series is about. This is the first of that. We're going to go over some charts that we're going to go over the charts of this week, and I'm going to run you through this in a video style. I was going to also post the charts that I've cut and put some notes on. Now, this is going back here before I wanted to do this. I've been concentrating more and more on the futures and really discussing some of these individual setups that I've kind of come up with over the years. And my strongest, my go-to one is this dual stochastic flag setup. And sometimes I wonder if I even should talk about it. It's just, it works so well. And what happens if too many people know about it? Well, you know what, we'll have to see. We're going to have to see. But as far as I know, this is one of the best setups, and we're going to track these each and every day and probably end up taking them. I took one today, and you're going to see that in the video. There was only one setup today, and there might only be one setup. Maybe there might be no setups during the day of this type of pattern. It might be 3. But when they all work out, it's just an amazing feeling when you see that setting up, and you're like, all right, let's go to work. All it takes is one trade, one setup, if you have that much confidence in it. And this is the type of setup I think you could gain that confidence in. So I'm excited to share it with you. Just, I don't know why. I should just turn off the freaking mic now. Just do it. All right. So this is just going back a couple weeks ago before we started going into this week. I'm just showing you that fast rotation, that embedded stochastic. Now, I'm trying to, for me, you could guess at this, saying, well, it's pulling back real fast. It's not at the 20. It's not here. It looks like a flag. There's things here that could be off by a few ticks or a few pennies. So it takes time. It takes a little experience to read into them, but most of them are pretty clear cut. When you see that fast rotation, you see that embedded stochastic, and you see that what looks like a positive flag on holding the 20, that's what it is usually. 80% of the time, that's what it is. So you see that, and these are setups that you will see in a very strong trending market. And when you identify that, then you could act on it. You could see that the embedded stochastic, we didn't rotate back down at all. We haven't been rotating back down. So when you see that fast rotation and you're not seeing anything really dipping back here, there's a good chance that you're going to get that follow through. But again, 1 minute chart, 1 minute time frame, 1 minute measured moves. A move from here, 20, is probably good to 21, maybe even a 50 if you get there. But at that point, you're rotating back up to overbought, and you should be out of it. And then, wait for that next setup. Now, in this series, I'm going to be discussing about 3 to 4 patterns that we're going to be searching for. The dual stochastic flag setup, either a bullish flag or a bearish flag, it works the same way. I love the bear flags. Traded those this week. We're just going to continue on. I'm just going to scroll forward, see if there's any notes on here, because I didn't start really putting the notes in until this week, and then I started saving the charts. But just anything I could see and kind of talk about it. When you start to see the charts next week, and if you tune into the show, DayTraderRadio.com, I'm on the air from early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning till the close, and the futures show up overnight. So we're always here at Day Trading Radio. But during the day, you're going to see me identify these setups. And, so I'm just going through this, and this is how the market's kind of doing. So as this market, and this is the overnight market, you can actually see some of these setups also work great overnight. But, there's just not enough time in the day for me. There's no way I'm going to be at 3:30 in the morning trading the futures. But they work. The same type of setups work here. So again, you can see the morning hours come in, we get into the thing, and then we start tracking the market. And lots of times we just have a dual stochastic overbought, and oversold, overbought, oversold, and that's what happens. This wasn't a flag setup, but it was possibly a tradeometer setup. I have to go back. I haven't looked back at that point. But as you can see, when I'm on the show and we discuss this, and here's a beautiful example of a wedge pattern. Now, on the 5-minute time frame, I might see that this is overbought on the 5-minute, might be overbought on the 60, and we're expecting a big rollover. This pattern tells us which way we're going to roll, and You can see that roll. So this is a pattern we look for. And then we have look at this. Then we have a falling wedge. And I'm not even at the end here, but my guess is that we break higher, and we broke higher. Again, we identified this live on the air. This is that square represents that 65 to 75% area of the market where this pattern breaks out. And we did get that breakout. And again, it lines up here with the lower trend line, a dual stochastic setup, and probably a tradeometer setup too. Again, a little bit before this week. But as all these setups were playing out, and they can move up and then it can move down, but the object is to understand when the big moves are going to be in. We're not playing to stay here and stay to the close. We're looking to get a couple, whatever your profit potential you want, what you want to get, 3 ticks to 8 ticks, whatever you're looking for. You're going to have that set up here, and you're not going to look for more. You just want it. This is going to be an organized, methodical, systematic approach to the markets, and you're not like, all right, I'm here now. I'm going to, wait. I'm not making the money. If this thing starts to turn, this is meant to work on that 1 minute time frame. Overbought to oversold, oversold to overbought. Oversold, back and forth. So there's no reason to hold on any longer than you need to. And that's the killer of everyone. So let's just catch up here. We're going to catch up. What did Monday start off with? And this is where we really started taking the trades. Let me see when Monday. That's Thursday. I have to catch up here. Friday. All right, what is Monday? How far did I go back here? Monday was the 10th. All right. 11:10. I've been doing a lot of back testing on these divergences here. Here's a great example of the lane divergence, and this is another pattern we're going to look for. But basically, I want to continue to show you these patterns that we're setting up, because you won't see them. I'm going to show them to you now, and you can see it when you see them happening. You have to act on them. After the move is done, it doesn't have that shelf life or half life, whatever you want to call it. This is a nice divergence, and you can see that move off of it. Here's a nice flag, fast rotation, embedded stochastic, nice flag breakout. I mean, that's 2 of the setups we want to look for. So that's what we're concentrating on. Continue to go through here. Here's Monday the 4th. I didn't realize I went so far back here. Here's Monday the 10th. So this is where we really started tracking the markets. And what you're going to see going forward is these circles mean buy zones, unless I kind of forget to put squares up there. Sometimes I use the circles just to point out a divergence. This is not a buy zone up here, but I'll go through these. They're usually points of interest, and we want to look at them. The yellow areas are the ones I take the trades at. So if anything's in bright yellow, that means we took the trade on that. Anything that's like in a white here, there's something happened on the chart, and I wanted to discuss it and watch it. All right, and show it to you. So we go back here and now start to break down this. And the market opens up. There was a tradeometer set up back here. Something happened back here. I have to remember. This was a nice flag setup. We got a fast rotation back. We stayed above 70 here. And that's the criteria right there. That's the criteria we're looking at. The 70, the 70-20 area. The 20, pulling back to that 20 zone. Staying above 70. Sometimes it's 69. I'm not going to argue. This is always moving around, but you have to call it at one point. And I usually call it at 70. Sometimes I let it slide to 60, the high 60s and stuff. Feeling out the market, the time of the day and stuff. But usually, if you get a fast rotation, this one's hugging near the upper part of that range. That's a flag setup, especially if it's chopping around that 20-period moving average. So as you can see, this was a pretty good flag setup. And it popped up here. And at this point, we had a lane divergence. We had a higher high. And the lane divergence on the 1 minute chart is going to be very, very hard to see. I mean, you could see it, the lower low on the stochastic rollover as we made newer higher highs, and that's an important indicator. As long as you can identify it, make it sure it's, you don't want to make it like, well, it's very close, I don't know, get the protractor out. You want to have a definite divergence there, and you want to buy into that divergence or sell into that divergence in this case. And that was a great setup, and I think we actually took that trade. And then it pulled back down here. We got we had another divergence here. We had a lower trend line, or a lower lows being put in here, and higher lows being put in here. So if you could look back here, I can actually mark this off here. I think I marked it off. That's what I'm looking at here. You can see these higher highs being put in there, there's lower lows here, and that's what I was looking at. So I got in here, and it took a while. We moved up here, and then all of a sudden we had the divergence, and the divergence played back to the downside. And I mean, textbook levels, and that's the only levels we're looking for. We're looking for the flag setup, the divergence, the divergence, the divergence. Is this a possible flag setup here? Didn't check the 5-minute, and seeing dual not confirmed, it was not a flag setup. So I noticed this level, and I said, well, it looks like it's a bear flag. I remember this trade. And this is one of the trades that worked against us. So I said, all right, this one's starting to rotate. This was already above 30, and this wasn't at 80 yet. So I ended up taking it. I said, well, it looks like it's rotating fast and it's staying down there. But truth is, right when we got up to this level up here, if I could get a line up here, we kind of were out of the range. I mean, it really was. Anyway, I ended up taking it. I kind of looked back and I said, "Oh, I think I jumped the gun there." I thought maybe we might see a flag, but looking back at that 5-minute chart, it just started to turn back up. So it turned back up. It stopped me out, and I learned that I have to wait for that signal. I have to really wait for that 30-70 line to hold. I can't be, it can't be. Well, in this case, 34, or 35. You want to stay under 30, close to the 20, preferably. Either way, you have 1, 2, 3 pivot areas. This fourth pivot plus another volume profile line makes X marks the spot, and we see that actually just hold up perfectly. It's a dual stochastic setup right off the highs here. And we continue to continue on with this. You can see as we get into the last hour. In the last hour, it gets more volatile. And we see nothing here really develop. So overall, really good setups on that first day. I believe that was the first day, yeah. And the first day really proved us on, this is where we can actually go back and see the divergence really worked out good. It was not a divergence. It hasn't worked out yet. The flag setups. This one looked like a flag. You know what? It ends up being a little push up here, but the 5-minute wasn't set up. So the important thing is when you see these, flag setup, you really want to have that 5-minute going in your direction also, or just crossing over. You don't want to have it very bullish, heading in the wrong direction. So that was the only issue on that day. Other than that, textbook setups. And then you got to be getting kind of excited on that. So we go to the next day. I'm trying to fast forward here overnight. Come to Tuesday. We start off here. I was looking at the overnight trade, and I said, well, how is this performing overnight? Well, I said, you know what? I actually do see a divergence here. You see that higher low and the lower low here on this price, and then the nice move back up here and some other things. I was just analyzing that. I'm always looking for something. All right, well, 9:30 opens up here, and we get a little flush here. And what did we see here? We had a tradeometer set up. We took it off, and it was also a 950 reversal. Right at 950 is the time frame. Love the 950 reversal. And that was a nice trade. We got a nice profit on that. Then we flagged out here. And it was interesting. We actually had a little divergence. We had this fast stochastic pulling back with the slower one rising up, which is a really good divergence. I mean, that's one of the strongest ones. You can see the flag, possible flag setup, and pulling back here to that level as we get oversold. This is very strong, and then off to the races. Then we had a tradeometer set up here. I had a little sell signal, probably coming in because of these two are embedded. Pulled back a little. came back up here. We had another sell signal, and I thought we just started to see a little divergence. I was looking at this high here, this high and this high, and I was looking at this low and this low, and it looked like a divergence. Ended up working out. It did push up a little bit higher, but not enough to stop me out, and it actually just rotated over. So that divergence actually did work out. I mean, we did have that little divergence there, so that played out. And then we started breaking back down, and this was really, it was a tradeometer buy signal here, and I wanted to point that out because what this was, it was a very good sell signal on the 1 minute, and I would take the 1 minute, and this taught me, it said before we had to watch out for that 5 minute, but this was a classic embedded stochastic here. You could feel the weakness, even though this was a buy signal. I said, watch for the drop here. Doesn't look strong at all. We started getting that move up here, but this was flatlined and under 20. The 20 mark here wasn't even breached, so we were really seeing some good weakness here, and that broke down. And we flagged out again. It just gave us a rotation, and it broke back down. An oversold level here, dual stochastic tradeometer setup here. It grinded back up. Then we got a tradeometer sell signal here, and you can see it popped a little. And again, you're never going to be really close to, look at the signals we're getting on these. Very close to the bottom for that ramp up, very close to the top, but not exactly there. And I think that kills a lot of traders, because it's such a high leveraged vehicle to trade. It's just, some people, they kind of don't want to take that loss, and yet you're probably going to be right most of the time because you have the indicators in your favor. It's something that you're going to have to develop over time, and that's it at the end of the day. So pretty decent day there. Now we go into Wednesday, and here we are Wednesday. I don't watch the overnight here, but the 9:30 opens up and we take off here. And what we had was a coil stochastic setup here, and we also had a, what do we have here? Let me see here. Oh yeah, coil stochastic 5 minute to very bullish. All right, so we had a coil stochastic here, but the 5 minute SPX was very bullish, so we actually pushed higher here. So again, was a 5 minute here worked against the against us. Eventually, it did break down. The coil did break down. Again, it's always, you might have a good setup, but it's just between what your stop is, that's going to happen every so often. But this was a great one. This was a beautiful, beautiful dual stochastic flag setup right here. I thought I took this trade. I didn't mark it off. Some of them, I was still in the process of getting used to marking these things off, so some of them I did mark off, but it was flatlined here. We rotated back fast, easy call on the flag. Breakdown here, tradeometer buy signal, moves right back up, right off of that level too. And then we're off to the races again. And it looks like a tradeometer sell signal here, but a lot of chop that went on here. Nothing really going on. It continues to bang up here, saying it's overbought. Tradeometer sell signal. It keeps on saying overbought. It did pull back here. And look at this divergence. This was a key divergence. So you're really starting to see the two big things. We have three big things we watch for. We have the divergence, which is very clear, the lower low and the higher low. We have the flag, dual stochastic flag setup. And when you stick to that criteria, the 70-20 line, 70-30 line, I should say. Or I should say, well, yeah, we'll call it 70-30 line. You want to have that, you don't want to sneak above that line here. You want to stay down here, pinned in here when you're making those flags. Not to confuse you. So many interesting signals. You can see we're starting to really now put together a good method that we could take these sell signals. I'm considering doing this. Just taking the sell signal. I'd rather have something else play along with them. It might be just a kind of a feeling out process at that point, but I don't want to get too far away from the methodology. So that was Wednesday. We're going to jump over to Thursday fast. And off to the races here. Thursday, we had what did we have? This, all right, this is Thursday. All right, so it's Thursday. So I'm looking at here. I see a divergence over here. Thinking of today. We have a nice flag here, but you don't see that really good rotation on the flag. It looks pretty good. Looks like we had maybe an early morning tradeometer overbought level here, and it kind of chopped around and moved higher, probably moved too high. The first flag here, no real signal, choppiness. We moved up here. We did see that lane divergence. And I noticed that I took that trade into this lane divergence right here. This lower low, it definitely dropped underneath that dotted line, which was that 80 line. This one was over it. So you can definitely see that. You can see the higher high. I think also I was zooming out here. I could start to, it looked like a perfect setup. It was a perfect setup. And boom, bang, all the way down. That trade was taken. Also, it might have been a wedge pattern also playing out there. So we have to remember those wedge patterns come along with those divergences a lot. And that's exactly what that was. And that was a good one, too. All right, so we had our first oversold signal there. Didn't take that. Only the ones in yellow we are taking. So remember, the white ones are areas of interest. I want to go back on the video and kind of discuss it. I think we had our first tradeometer oversold level there, and it continued to flush through it. So we were seeing some pretty good selling. We came down to an old trend line, and we bounced off of it. So that was a really nice bounce off. And we came back down here and came under the pivot area. We just got oversold again. Tradeometer, dual stochastic oversold level. So that was a decent setup. It started moving back up. Are we seeing anything here that's interesting? We're coming up a little after 12 o'clock. We got an oversold tradeometer setup off of a pivot area. Didn't give us much, 29 to 30. 30 almost gave you maybe a point if you nailed that one. But it looks like it just more selling. Get that bounce. Notice a little divergence here. Just wanted to go back. Didn't act on it. Didn't do anything here. I just wanted to watch why did that set up like that. Ended up dropping off. And then, well, here we are. Here we have a fast rotation. This was our very embedded stochastic. It was at the time it was above 70. This was perfect. And this is what I'm liking. This is what we're really gaining this. So it took off here, came back down here really fast right at this point and did it again. And I was mentioning this live on the air. I said, watch for the dual flags that happen. The second flag usually fails. It failed out, got oversold, dual stochastic bounce. So the dual stochastics are killing it on these charts. The flag setups are killing it. The divergences are killing it. I'm going into the last day. My mouth is dry now. All right, here we are going into the last day. Start off the day. I was behind the scenes. Paul was doing the mic and stuff, but believe me, I was doing this video for you. So that was part of the other HPS video. So if you have the HPS video, I discussed this trade right here, which we took. I discussed the tradeometer signals going on. So here's a tradeometer overbought level or sell signal. Here's another tradeometer sell signal. This was an X marks the spot signal, and actually we're talking. I saw everyone was trading this level today. It was a great level to be in. And we popped back up here, and then we had a dual stochastic flag setup. I took this trade. You can see that on the other videos. We had a nice pop. Then we continue to, and we took profits. Remember, the bracket order is going to take us out, so we're not worried about it. I'm saying, you see, I want to be out of this. Maybe if I didn't have my bracket, I'd be guessing or maybe hoping that it pushes higher. But you see that 60-minute? I said, you know what? Actually, I had two contracts on. I took the one off because we touched that overbought level, or that we put on that 1 minute time frame. I said, you know what? How many times do we see this just react? So why are we even taking a chance? Re-out. So it felt so good to be out there, pulled back down, chopped around. At that point, I was full into research mode, trying to follow the markets a little more. We had a little sell signal. We had a tradeometer set up here, flushed out. We had a little flag, kind of a coiled setup here, not much. And it was a Friday type of trade. It was awful. The trade was awful. The only good setup was this flag setup. So after all is said and done, the first week is behind us. We have 3 more weeks to really back test these, and then when I actually try to get FT on, we'll analyze the trades. If you want to follow along, again, download the platform. The link is on the page. Go to Stage 5 Trading. download the demo and follow along with the setups. And you're going to see something by the end of the month. We're going to have this thing down, and we're going to be just trading it live, and just, that's what we want to develop, a disciplined, patient, and a methodology that gives us an edge. Hope you enjoyed that. I am done. All right? I am done with this one. We started off next week on Monday. Once again, I'm looking forward to that. Have a great one.